Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 24. So it's kind of annoying because I went to record last episode and my power went out halfway through the episode, so have to re-record this entire rest of the season simulation and stuff of the off-season, so it's kind of annoying. Because in that recording that I had, basically, we actually won our first game in franchise history, which was kind of insane. So I'm hoping that it still happens in the simulation the rest of the way, but I have a lot of work to do now to basically get to where I was, which is really friggin' annoying. So anyways, if you didn't catch the last episode that actually went up on YouTube, basically we had a little bit of a weird draft. We didn't necessarily get the best players that we wanted, but at the same time there wasn't really that much out there for us that we could actually draft. So we ended up grabbing 4 players with okay potential, some of them deep potentials, but a little bit higher overall players at least. So I'm hoping that some of them could develop into being something decent as well. But if we compared it to like some other teams, you could see some teams had some good drafts and some had not so good drafts. Like Seattle kind of had a mid draft, but then you had like the Texas Rangers who had a good draft. You go to the team like the Braves, not really the best draft on paper either for them. So I think in general we did okay considered the quality of the entire draft class as a whole. So hopefully we have a better draft next year if there is more prospects available to us. And yeah, hopefully this team could be pretty good soon enough, like start winning some games. Because like I said, I recorded this episode already, or part of this episode already, and then my power went out. And basically what happened in that part of that episode, Parker Iwermer got the first win in franchise history and stuff like that. I was literally just getting to the off-season portion stuff, and then boom, my power went out for like less than a split second. So this is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Let's get into your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then I'm going to try and get through this a little bit faster just because I have to re-record this entire portion, which is very, very frustrating. The first 2 comments are from Dylan Burrows. The first one says, been absolutely loving the series so far, just starting this episode now, and I appreciate that, man. I've been really liking the series as well, even though we haven't been necessarily winning games yet. It's been really fun to start building up this roster and seeing it take form, and hopefully at some stage we obviously start winning like a decent chunk of games and we actually have a full roster in the MLB, and guys that are still in the system are developing at a decent rate at that point as well. So hopefully that's not too far along before we start winning like 5+ games a season. Dylan also says, also, what do you think about making trades but only if the AI sends it to you and they're Asian, for example Lin? Not that I would do that deal, just an example. I don't know if I would do that right now. Maybe in like if we're like in a dire state of mind in terms of like 30 years from now or whatever, this team's not winning games still, or they're not even postseason bound. Maybe we'll start to think about changing up how we run the series. But for right now, obviously I would like to focus on just making it draft picks because it's just kind of fun to see all these guys get selected by our team and make their way to the majors. But maybe at some point we'll change up if we want to make it so we could maybe make 1 trade or something a year if we get offered a trade for an Asian player, maybe 1 signing a season, something like that to help us out down the road. But for right now, I don't think it's something I would do. And the last and final comment is from Iston, who says, solid draft. We should adjust our lineups and batting order, and I totally agree. We definitely need to work on addressing the batting order, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. The pitching rotations are actually okay. I mean, I was looking at the stats, it was fine. So the only thing we're going to actually change up is basically the batting order for double and triple A. I'm going to base this off of batting average, so we are going to go to the guys who have the best batting average as possible are going to go higher in the lineup, so to speak. I'm also going to be taking Vincent Seo off of the ones versus right-handers, and Yabu is going to become the DH because Yabu is actually pretty good off the bench, so he's also going to be in a number 4 spot just to hit some home runs and whatnot. We are going to take Yang down. Nomo is going to go up. Oh man, it sucks having to do all this again because literally this is what I did exactly when I was recording last, and then it just had to friggin' go out for like a split bit. Oh well. Okay, so Seo will stay in against these guys. We were going to take Yang out because Yang's not doing the best, and Yabu will go again on DH. And we'll readjust this accordingly. So Yabu in the 4 spot. Chung going up. Nomo going up for now. Park going up. Choi's not doing good. Yokoyama's doing pretty solid, so he's going to go up higher in the lineup. And then Taguchi's batting at 239, so he will go just above Nomo. Perfect. So that's all good and set up and ready to go, and I think we're pretty much ready to continue simulating. I am going to first give Parker Ivermer his extension already, because that's exactly what I did as well. And that is that. So let's get simulating. We are going to focus on AA, obviously, for the rest of their season to see what the prospects down there do. And then we'll focus on AAA and in the major leagues. Well, it'd be interesting to see if our team actually wins any games in the major league, considering technically there was a win, and it was a 3-1 win over Philly. Yet, who knows if that's actually going to happen now that I've had that power outage for like a brief second. Goddamn, man. Let's go auto on that. Hopefully the guys in AA have a good rest of their year, because some of them are doing pretty well when I did look at the last time. Also, AAA was doing decently in terms of pitchers, that type of thing. So, all right. David Nau's been injured for a few days. That's not great. We'll just go auto on that for now. And we got a couple more series to go in AA, so let's get through those. And now we got to call up some players for September call-ups. All right, so let's go okay on that front, and let's call up some people to our major league team. So we're going to add some people from AA, I guess, or actually, yeah, from AA. We'll add some guys to our 40-man roster that could come up. So Chris Winters, you could come up to the major leagues. And we're also going to call up Chris Price. I'm calling up the exact same people as I did before my power outage. And then there was also, I believe, one other guy to call up. Jonas Strong. Yeah, it was him as well. He will come up to the major leagues. And then we were going to send a guy down from AAA down to AA. That was going to be a pitcher, I believe. I think it was Ryan Boyer that I sent down to AA. Just because or else they won't have enough players in the AA team. Alright, so that's all prepped and ready to go. Let's get the rest of AA's season done and see how they finish off. David Law is no longer injured. Let's go auto utilize for second, and then we put him into the lineup. Or not the lineup, the pitching rotation, if he's not already. No, he already is. Perfect. That's good. That is good. Let's get the rest of this done and see how AA finishes it off. Tom Koo has been injured with an elbow sprain, out for a few days. At least it's not too long term, but not great to have our prospects getting injured. I would prefer the guys that are just filling out a roster right now getting injured. Let's get Tom Koo back into the lineup as well, since he has returned. So Tom Koo, not as a setup guy. I need him as a reliever, because he is important to the future of this team. Did we win a game yet in the major leagues? No, we didn't. I hope that we still win that first game in franchise history, because that would be kind of annoying if that doesn't happen, just because of a power outage. Okay, so our AA team finishes 11-58. That's pretty decent considering the quality of the roster. Let's take a look at how AA finished off the year. Let's start off with our lineup. So Yamazaki batted a .253, 12 home runs, 47 RBIs. Not too bad. Yeah, that's an okay season from him. Solid average, solid home runs RBI-wise. Had a positive WAR. Decent year for Yamazaki. Excited to see what he could do. He'll probably be in AAA next season, my guess. Walter Chung never hit a single home run. He did have 23 RBIs, though, in a .237 average. Not a terrible year for him. He did strike out 100 times. Obviously, he doesn't really have the discipline still, but yeah, he definitely needs to be better. But obviously, his injury past, maybe that hurt him a little bit, kind of like Vincent Seo a little bit. So hopefully he improves. Charles Nomo, a .250 average, pretty good. 22 home runs, 57 RBIs. I almost said 57 average for some reason. 744 OPS is pretty good, and a .4 WAR. So our two catchers did well. Robert Yabu at .280. It's not too bad. Considering he's a deep potential player, I'll take it. And then, yeah, 2 home runs, 31 RBIs, the 729 OPS, and a .8 WAR. So far, the top of the order is doing pretty good. William Yokoyama, 4 home runs, 32 RBIs, a .237 average. A little bit low on the average, but still, I think it's an improvement from his last season at least. His last season, he wasn't the best. A .5 WAR, so it was kind of a mid-year for him, but at least it wasn't a down year, so to speak. Mark Taguchi apparently has been hot as of late. 6 home runs, 46 RBIs, a .242 average. Okay, not bad for his first season. And a .4 WAR. At least all these guys are positive-ish so far. Raymond Park, a .216 average. Oof. I mean, he doesn't have great discipline and stuff like that, so it kind of makes sense. But 37 RBIs and 9 home runs is okay, but obviously that average definitely lowers that OPS quite a bit. And then, yeah, negative WAR as well. Okay. Russell Yang at 227 average with 39 RBIs and 4 home runs. Yeah, he still hasn't been the best. Definitely not. He's probably due for a downgrade at some point. Yeah, negative 2.8 WAR. Russell Yang is probably going to be going down to a C potential relatively soon, which is not great. Walter Choi, 7 home runs, 42 RBIs is pretty decent. A 211 average, not so much, but he is not the highest potential in the world. He did have a 610 OPS, which is okay compared to some guys. And he did have a positive WAR, so I'll take it. Obviously, he could be better than that, but that's not bad for his first season, I guess. And then Vincent Seo off the bench. He actually improved a bit since we put him on the bench. A 200 average, 6 home runs, 37 RBIs. 568 OPS. Still not the greatest year for him, but, I mean, it was okay. The WAR doesn't suggest that it was a good season for him, though. So, obviously, we could use a little bit more out of Vincent Seo. And that's it for our batting. Okay, let's take a look at the pitchers. I believe there's only a few. So, Kazuhito Hayashi, considering the rest of his team's roster, probably a decent ERA, decent WAR, or not WAR, WHIP, I should say. The 3-12 record. Let's take a look at the quality starts. So 30 games started, 12 quality starts, so that's almost half, not bad. Did have a positive WAR. Did not make him a single error, which is pretty good too. And he's up to a 60 at 18. Actually, he's looking okay. He's looking okay. Compared to like these other guys, he definitely did a lot better than these lower overall players. Eric Yamamoto as a reliever was actually really good too. ERA is a 3.59. That's actually decent considering his overall and whatnot. He might be due for a little bit of a boost. At least I would hope so. A 4.3 WAR is really good too. So shout out to Yamamoto. Walter Cho was fantastic. He actually had a winning record considering, which is weird. He has a deep potential at 25, so he's not going to get much growth from here on out. But a good ERA, a good WHIP, and a positive WAR. There's a chance Walter Cho could be a major league reliever almost soon too. Because he's got that deep potential, but he's got good stats other than his walks per 9. Yeah, he could honestly be a reliever in major leagues if we want to at some point. He should probably be in AAA next year just for the fun of it. Yamashita, not bad either. Decent ERA, decent WHIP. Obviously a losing record though. Yeah, that's not too bad. How about the WAR and stuff? Yeah, 1.7. Yeah, I think a lot of these players are doing actually relatively well in AA, which is great. Alright, so that's AA. Let's finish off the AAA season now and see if they have any interesting statistics to look at. They finished 25 and 125. Alright. And obviously we saw AA 11 and 58. Let's take a look at some AAA stats now. So Tom Lee finished off on a hot streak, apparently 24 home runs. Wow. 53 RBIs. So obviously his average isn't as good as it was in AAA, or AA I should say. But the home runs, the RBIs is pretty good. The OPS is solid. His WAR is negative, but not by much. So I would say a pretty good year for Tom Lee. Obviously, once he gets that average up there, it'll be much better. But the home runs and the RBIs is definitely very useful at that level. Brian Chu, 13 home runs, 36 RBIs, a 228 average. That's not too bad. He is up to a 70 at 20. So who knows? Maybe he'll make the majors relatively soon as well. 642 OPS, alright. And a negative 1 WAR. It's okay. It's not bad. David Sasaki, on the other hand, is had a really good year. 75 RBIs. He definitely helped clean up quite a bit. 18 home runs. He's definitely showing a lot of promise with that power game and also the RBI department too. So, yeah, 1.5 WAR. He was really good in terms of hitting home runs, and also his contact was decent too, I would guess. But that vision and discipline needs to be much higher before he makes it to the MLB, I think. And then Kevin Sato, wow. Kevin Sato is actually doing relatively well. He is 24 already, which kind of sucks, but 65 at C potential as well. He had 3 home runs, only 33 RBIs, but his batting average was a 290, which is really good. 777 OPS as well, and a 1.1 WAR. So obviously not the most RBIs and home runs in the world, but he was getting on base, which is quite useful. So not too bad from the batters. Pitching rotation-wise, what do we got here? Walter Jung was great. As expected, 3.62 ERA, 1.18 whip. So he definitely did a lot better in AAA, I'd say, than he did in his AA time. 30 games started and 12 quality starts, so around half, not bad. And a 3.9 WAR. He could definitely be in the major leagues next season, considering he's already 75. Stan Nguyen also had a good year. 3.49 ERA, 1.19 whip. Had more wins than Walter Jung did. 30 games started and a total of 15 quality starts, so exactly half of them were quality starts, so that's really good from Stan Nguyen in his first AAA season. David Na, his first season ever playing with us. 3.37 ERA, 1.3 whip. Never played in AA, and he actually played pretty good in AAA, so impressed with that. 30 games started, 15 quality starts as well, and a 2.2 WAR. So him and Nguyen were better than Jung in a way, but Jung was really good too. And then Robert Matsui also played pretty good in his first season with our organization. 30 games started and 13 quality starts, so just under half. So in general, all four of these pitchers did their job, and that is exactly what we need from them if our team's going to win games in the major leagues eventually. And then our relievers, Leonard Sato had a pretty solid first season, a 3.27 ERA, 1.29 whip, up to a 75 overall already. So I think he should probably be in the majors soon too, which will be great. So we're going to start building up our bullpen and also our rotation maybe next season. Obviously he didn't start any games, but he did have a 3.3 WAR, so shout out to Sato. Excited to see what he could do when he gets to the majors. And Hiroyuki Yamada actually had a really good season as well. He did drop off in overall. I don't know why, but there is a chance he gets a potential boost this offseason, which is good. Really good ERA, really good whip, and a good, nice positive WAR as well, 2.4. And then finally, our closer, Philip Chung, was good too. I mean, he wasn't necessarily lights out as a closer, but still 3.13 ERA, 1.0 whip, 1-10 record. Is developing. He's up to a 66 at 18, so yeah, he's still exciting as shit for the future. Like him, and then having like Tom Koo, some of the other relievers, like we're definitely building up a decent pitching area, so I really like that a lot. And our major league team has still not won a game yet, which is unfortunate, because technically when I simulated last time, this was our first win in franchise history right there, so I don't think we're going to win our first game now because of my power going out. So you could blame it on that. Let's get through this and see if we actually somehow win a game down the stretch. We do not win any games there. We didn't actually score a single run in these 5 games. That's kind of crazy. Our last game of the season. Is it going to be a win? No, it's going to be another shutout loss. So we do go another season without a win just because of my power outage. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But Parker Iwamura, anyways, his first season, 0-27 record, a 5.4 ERA, 1.46 whip. So considering the rest of this team all definitely really struggled in pitching, he actually had a pretty solid season. He's up to an 81 already. 33 games started. How much quality starts? 10 quality starts. That's almost a third of them. So definitely some positives to take away from Parker Iwamura's first season in the big leagues. Leonard Sato got called up at the end of the season, which is weird, but he could be in the major leagues next season. Tom Koo didn't have a single win or a loss. He did have a solid ERA and whip compared to the rest of his companions. Let's see. 4.2, not bad. FIP 4.53. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. So there is all of our prospect stats. Now we can finally get to the off-season portion of this, and I can actually get to where I was before the power outage, because I'm still kind of frustrated about that. Because or else we could have won our first game in franchise history, as the Cardinals have beaten the Mariners in the 2028 World Series. So shout out to the St. Louis Cardinals winning again. I think they've won multiple times already in this series, but can't remember. Let's go continue, and let's get to the signing of the staff and stuff like that. We did have some retirements. I wonder if it's the same retirements that happened last time when I was recording, because last time it was 9 pitchers that retired. So do we get 9 pitchers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 this time. 11 this time. Okay, so I got to make sure I'm writing this down again, because I was writing it down just so I could sign players that I need. So third baseman wise, we lost 3 third basemen still, so that's correct. Outfielding wise, did we lose any outfielders? We lost one outfielder this time. So only one outfielder this time around. Shortstop wise, did we lose any shortstops? We only lost two instead. Actually, we only lost two last time. And then catcher wise, we only lost one. So that's the same as last time as well. So, okay, so the only thing that changed is the pitchers and the outfielders, okay? So we did lose a bunch of guys to retirement, but that's okay because we should be able to not have to sign as much this offseason once we get through the contract negotiations and stuff. So Yu Chang is going to get re-signed just because we need bodies at the moment. So we're going to just keep signing these guys up for now. Even though it is a bit pricey, I just want to make sure that we have our rosters signed up and ready to go. All right. So let's go to free agency 1. Let's go no on that front, and that should be good. Okay, so we got to start off with our 40-man roster. We got to add Walter Jung to the 40-man roster. And nobody else matters because those are all prospects that aren't from our team. Salary arbitration, we're obviously going to just offer everybody salary arbitration just because we got to fill out our roster. I might just make I'm going to offer salary arbitration on all these guys. Just so you can fill out the roster. And hopefully we have enough bodies. We'll go to tender contracts now and get all of our top prospects signed up. Yeah, let's just give them what they're wanting. Get these guys all signed up. Chi Long Yu wants a 5+ year deal. That's actually kind of insane. But we'll sign him up for 3 because he's a roster player for now. Good little stopgap while we wait for other guys. Okay, should be able to get most of them signed easily. And hopefully we don't have to sign too much in the offseason, so that way I don't have to lower potentials like a madman, like I've done for these first few years of the series. So we'll get these guys all signed up. Normally I would cut this part out. Actually, I could cut this part out, so I might make a jump cut after I actually offer all these contracts. So see you guys in a second. Okay guys, so I offered contracts to all of them, so that's all good and ready to go. So I think we're actually ready to start simulating the next stage of free agency. I did want to take a look if we need any staff members, because last time I went through this portion I actually did need a manager, but it said that I didn't need any staff this time, I don't think, which is kind of weird. Let me see, coach contracts. Yeah, that's weird. Because the last time it said that I needed a manager, but now it doesn't. Oh well. Anyways, let's get to the next portion of free agency. It says Ronald Acuna has signed with the Detroit Tigers. That's a pretty big signing in the offseason. $25.9 million a year for 9 years. As a 99 overall. Insane. I'm going to skip through the rest of that because I don't care too much about free agent signings that happen around the league. But let's stop simulating for a second and see if all of our guys accepted, which most of them should. Yep, all of them accepted, and that's all good there too. Alright, perfect. I actually might be able to get through some of this offseason relatively quickly. I could have already been done recording this episode if it wasn't for this damn power outage, whatever. Would you like to stop simulating? No. Alright, let's get to free agency 4. We're getting closer at least to finding out where we're drafting next year. Hopefully we have like a top, like the first overall pick. And then hopefully there's a generational Japanese guy, because that would change the complexion of the series completely. Alright, winter meetings. We do have some salary arbitration that we'll get through with Fujinami, Strong, and Reeder. And let's see, 2028 draft lottery. Oh boy. Of course, we always have the best odds. The Marlins have number 2, even though they had technically the first overall pick last year. They only won 61 games apparently, and then the Rockies have the 3rd best odds, as they won 68 and 94. Alright. Alright, where are we going to be drafting in 2028? Are we going to have our first overall selection for the first time in franchise history? We deserve one at least at some point, but hopefully it's a draft that works for our team. And no, we fall to 3rd again. We have not won the draft lottery yet, which is very frustrating, especially if this year's draft has a generational Japanese guy. I'll actually scream. At least we weren't the Marlins, though, because they fell all the way to 7th, which they probably should have a top 3 pick guaranteed, I feel like, based on the record, but whatever. So there we go, 3rd overall selection again in the draft. Let's simulate to Rule 5 now. Let's see if there's anybody we could actually take in the Rule 5 draft this year, because there's a chance that there might be some more players available to us. All right, so starting pitcher wise, any Asian players available? Let's see. Not seen anybody so far. Not seeing anybody so far. I saw Soto, but I don't think he's an Asian guy, right? Charlie Soto? I don't know if this guy's Asian or not. I don't think so. I don't think so. What about relief pitcher wise? Anybody here on relievers? Wow, there's a lot of relievers in this. Not that we really need pitching help. Like, I think what we need mostly is like actual batters and stuff like that eventually, but let's see. So far, not seen any names that scream like they're from an Asian country. Actually, I could just see what the highest overall player is right now. Actually, wait, just the highest overall players. Actually, I looked already through relievers. Let's look for the closers now. There's not going to be as much closers. We know that. And yeah, nobody I could take in closing wise. What about catcher? We don't really need catchers either, and there's nobody there. First baseman. Eventually, we're going to see more players on this list that we could actually take, I think. But it's still going to take a bit before those players actually hit there. Russell Yang? Wait, that's ours. Why is he in... Why is Russell Yang eligible to be taken? Did I actually have to add him to my 40-man roster as well? Oh boy, that's not great. I hope he doesn't get taken by a team, because that would be frustrating, but at least he's not the biggest prospect in the world, but I didn't see him on that list of players that we'd have to add to our 40-man. That's kind of weird. Third baseman. That was a mistake on my part, though, for not adding him to our 40-man yet. Let's see. Still not seeing anybody, man. Eventually, at some point, we'll find somebody. At some point. No left fielders either. There might be no picks for us again in this Rule 5. Nobody at center fielder, which means only right fielders left. And there is nobody. So we're not going to be able to take a player, unfortunately. So let's skip through this, and hopefully Russell Yang does not get taken by any team. He shouldn't, considering the fact that he's a low overall still. Yep, he didn't get taken. That's good. All right, so that is all good and ready to go. Let's go to the arbitration hearings. Get through this portion of that, skip through that, skip through that. Blake Snell signing with the Dodgers. Not really surprised that a good pitcher would sign with the Dodgers. All right, almost done the offseason. Renewable contracts. It's good. I know that you're getting arbitration stuff, guys. Good. All right. All right. What do we need, though? Let me actually take a look if we actually need to still sign some things to start the season. You like to stop signaling? Yes, please. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we definitely still need some bodies here for sure. Especially pitching-wise, I think, right? Yeah, pitching is where we need. Pitching is where we need. So we need to sign 11 pitchers, I said. So let's go to free agency. I'm going to actually make a jump cut so I could get these guys all signed, and I'm going to have to lower their potentials and stuff too, so I'll see you guys in a second again. Okay, guys, so I finally got it all set up and ready to go, except for the lineup, so that took a lot of work to do. It's always annoying how much time it takes, but let me... Actually, we can't adjust our lineups yet. We'll have to wait till the start of the regular season, I guess, but got that all set up and ready to go. Let's sim to regular season because we don't care about spring training, and let me just get our lineup set up here. So... why did they call up Tom Lee? I didn't want Tom Lee in the major leagues this season. I don't know why it's readjusting this again, so I'm going to have to probably send people down and stuff again. Let's just make sure we have players I want actually in the major leagues here. So if we go to MLB roster, Leonard Sato could be up here to start. I'm okay with that. But Brian Chu has used 2 of his 3 minor league options already, which is ridiculous. Is he ready to be up here? Not particularly, but you know what? I might start a couple of these guys up here. Like not Tom Lee. Maybe Tom Lee, actually. Tom Lee actually might be okay to get up here at some point. He wasn't the best last year in AAA. How much options does he have? None. Or all three. You know what? We're going to send Tom Lee back down to AAA for now, but I think we could call him up at some point, which is exciting. And the rest of these guys don't matter, so yeah, that's fine with the guys up here. I'm okay with keeping Brian Chu up here. I think he wasn't great last year either. You know what? I'm going to send him down as well. He's going to use his last option. We're going to call up a shortstop and a left fielder to replace them. So shortstop-wise, Ron Frazier will get added to our 40-man and called up to the MLB. And then we'll go over to left field, and we will add Mr. Champlain Whitfield to our MLB roster. Oh, he already is on our 40-man roster, and he already is in the MLB, so we'll call up a different outfielder, I guess. Jose Castillo will get added. And he'll be moved to the MLB. Perfect. There we go. Now we have our roster actually set up that way. Alright, so let me just put these guys in random spots. I honestly don't care what AI decides to do with the MLB roster fully, unless it's the rotation. Let's just get these guys in. Boom and boom. But for double and triple A, let's make sure this lineup is set up the way we want it. So Nomo was playing as a third baseman last year, right? Yeah, he was. Yaba was actually pretty good too. The thing is, he only could play second base. Yokoyama's playing. Actually, wait. Oh yeah, that's right, because Yamazaki got moved up to AAA. That's right. So Nomo actually could be in his normal position, which is kind of nice. So go with that, and we will probably just go based on overall rating for now. But obviously we could change this up if people are underperforming from episode to episode. I'll keep Yang in the DH spot right here, number 4. And Choi could go up, which leaves Chung as the last guy there. That's fine. Richard Chen should be playing, though. That's one thing I would like to get him playing. He is only a 46, so I think I actually might move Richard Chen down to single A, because he's not going to get playing time otherwise. So we're probably going to do that as a adjustment to the roster. So we'll do, actually this is right-hander still. I want to go lefties. So let's readjust this accordingly. Boom, that's good. And 58, so CO goes up there. And that is good. Okay, perfect. So that's all set up and ready to go for double A for the most part. We go over to triple A. Let's make sure we got like Tom Lee in his right spot and all that. So he should be a left fielder, which he gets it right away. Good. Silva is not one of my prospects. Brian Chu is. So he'll go into the shortstop spot. It's good. Let's reorganize this once again by overall rating. So Chu as the leadoff guy. And then it would be Lee in number 2. Sato at 3. Sasaki in that 4 spot. I like that. And then the rest of this, Yamazaki is actually pretty good too, though, so he could maybe climb up a little bit in the lineup. We'll put Sato as the number 5 guy. Sasaki will probably... Wow, Iwamura can play alright field, those guys. So we will make Sasaki the DH, I think, based on how he did last year. Because I really like his ability to hit home runs and stuff, so... We'll change that up a little bit. And we'll also go Tom Lee again out here, Chu out here as well, and then we reorganize this based on overall rating again. So something along these lines, change this, and boom. Good. Okay, so those lineups are set up. Let's make sure the pitching rotation is set up properly. So MLB wise, Iwamura, Jung, and then Jung Liu. That's good. Fujinami is a reliever. Leonard Sato and Kamku actually need to be relievers, not setup guys, because those guys are important. Okay, majors are good. Double A wise, Hayashi is the starting pitcher. We'll move some other guys in as some other pitchers. Austin Choi as a reliever is good. Yamashita, not a setup guy because he needs to be a reliever. And Yamamoto as the closer is not what I want either. I don't care who's the closer as long as it's not one of my prospects. So we'll do something like that. Triple A wise, Nguyen is a starter, not second. Matsui third. How it works. Cho is a reliever. Yamada as a reliever needs to happen. And then Chung as the closer needs to happen. Good. Okay, that should be all good and set up and ready to go. The only thing we need to take a look at now is obviously, I think, the draft class, if I'm not mistaken, once we get to that point. But we also need to take a look at the top prospects. So let's take a look at the top prospects for the upcoming season, see where our guys lay. So Walter Jung is number 3 as the top under the top prospects. Jackie Tackett is the best prospect in baseball. Not surprised when we saw him get drafted last year. Philip Chung at number 6. That's really great to see. Our closer all the way at number 6. So we got 2 guys in the top 10. We also have Stan Nguyen at number 15. It's all pitching related, it seems like, so far, which is not necessarily the best thing. Yamazaki's at 33. So he's our highest up infielding player. Well, actually, yeah, catcher. So infielding wise, I don't think we're going to have anybody in this top 100, but I don't know. Is there anybody else in the top 100? Charles Noah, another catcher, of course. And nobody in terms of like first base, second base, etc. I'm surprised that Christian Russell is number 99 on the list as an 80 overall. That's kind of weird. Oh well. So there's that. Let's get into this first week of the season just to see what this draft class is looking like. Like, I'm excited to see if there's any good Asians talents in it. Obviously, we have the 3rd overall pick, so I hope that there's not one that's projected to go 1st overall, because that would be heartbreaking, because more than likely that would get taken early on. So let's go to the end of this first week of the season and see. Hey, look, we got our first win in franchise history then this episode. Of course we did. And it was a 1-0 shutout win. That's actually insane that we got a shutout. No, let's go auto on Champlain Whitfield. Yabo's already been injured for 1 to 2 weeks. Are you kidding me? Let's go auto on that as well, and auto on Champlain Whitfield. But we do get our first win in franchise history. We are 1-8. It came against Boston of all teams. And Tom Koo got credited with the win as the reliever. Let's take a look at that stat line here. So we managed to shut them out. Only allowed 5 hits, which is pretty great. But I do want to take a look at the pitching stats. So Parker Iramer started the game. Did 8 innings. Gave up 2 hits. Tom Koo came in as a reliever for Nick Pivetta. Yeah, Nick Pivetta must have tried to close out the game. Didn't do well. So our AI decided to go to Tom Koo. And Tom Koo gets us the victory. So shout out to Ira Murr and Koo, who both helped combine for our first win in franchise history. That's pretty nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's take a look now at this draft class. We do not need to sign any new scouts unless our scouts dropped off, which let me take a look first if our scouts dropped off at all or not. Because we could always upgrade our scouts in next episode if you guys think they're too weak. So if we go to staff contracts, here's our current scouts. If you guys think I should replace them, let me know. We don't have a high up budget really still, but we could always replace one of these ones if they're not too good. But there is some good scouts out there, obviously. But we could replace some of the ones we've had for a while. So, yeah, there is some scouts in case. Let's take a look at this draft class and see if there's any good Asian talents in it that we could start scouting out in next episode. Because I'm excited to see. So, obviously, we have the 3rd overall pick, 39th, 40, 77, 107, 137, and 167. So, is there any Asian talent? We're actually going to start by skimming through it this way instead. See if there's anyone from Asian countries, and then we're going to go look at name-wise as well, just in case there's any, or actually, yeah, I guess name-wise. And I don't know what I should look through. Let's look through it this way for something different. So, any Asians in this draft, please be more than there was last year, because that would be annoying if there wasn't. I have to look at names afterwards and stuff too, maybe. So far, not so much, but there's the first one, Vincent Tan. I think I remember Vincent Tan from a draft before this, and he's not necessarily the best, but he might be a really high potential and a decent eye overall. Overall. So Vincent Tan, the first Asian that could potentially go in the draft from South Korea. What else we got here for Asian talent? Please give me more than just one, because or else that wouldn't be good. There's another one, Theodore Lee. Oh yeah, I remember Theodore Lee. He actually could have a really solid starting overall as well as a 1-year-old. So, or he could be a C potential like some of the other guys. But his contact hitting could be really good, and his vision and discipline too. But we're obviously got to scout him out a little bit more. Theodore Lee. Wait, Theodore Lee, was he the one I drafted and then I couldn't sign, or was that somebody else? I feel like this was Theodore Lee. I drafted him and then I couldn't sign him or something like that, so he might be re-entering the draft. I think it was him, which is kind of neat. So we might be able to re-enter draft Theodore Lee in this one, if it was that guy I'm thinking of. Anybody else here from an Asian country, and then we could just look on names and see if there's any Asian names that are from an American state. You guys might have seen some Asians already that I'll have to go to at the end of this. This draft really doesn't look like there's a lot of Asians either, so I'm thinking the game is starting to generate less of them, which is not ideal. It always generates a lot of Venezuelans and stuff. There's another guy, Charles Nakamura. That's definitely a guy I've never heard of before, so relief pitcher. So it looks like we might be getting some pitching help in this draft, but I don't really need pitching help. I need more batting and stuff. There's another guy, Tadahito Taguchi, a catcher. I mean, we don't really need catchers either. We have some good catchers, but it gives us more depth, I guess. So that's kind of exciting. There's another one, Akio Yamamoto, another relief pitcher. All right, so we could have two Yamamotos that are relievers, which is kind of funny. There's another guy, Darren Hoffman's back in the draft again. We know he's not that great, but we could still draft him. What else is there? Boris Hayashi, another Hayashi. What the heck? Could be a high overall, never know. Might not be that great. Another reliever, though. I feel like these draft classes don't really help us that much when they're just relievers all the time. South Korea, Won Young Chang. Another relief pitcher. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of relievers in this draft. Spencer Cato, I do remember him. Second baseman. We do need second base, but he's not the best. But he's still okay. If he actually continues to go into the draft, that would be interesting. South Korean Tom Mann, I do remember him as well. Another reliever, of course, because why not? Anything else intriguing? Oh, another Japanese guy, Koji Yamazaki. I think I remember him from last year. We were scouting out him. He's not great looking like, but oh well. Stephen Kim, never scouted him before. He could have a high overall, low potential, but he's a major risk. But another reliever, because there's just always relievers. Alan Sasaki, a second baseman. We do need second base. So Sasaki might be worth scouting out because of that. So that's exciting. At least it seems like there's a lot more of them in this year's draft, but how much of them will actually enter the draft is the question. Any other guys from Asian countries, or am I going to have to just look at names now? Oh, there's another one. Ken Fong has re-entered the draft. I know you guys were telling me to draft Ken Fong last year, but he disappeared. Now he's back in the draft class again, so who knows, maybe we could get him this year if he's actually good. And we might be near the end of the list soon. Let's see. Are we almost done this list? No, there's still a lot of prospects. God damn, man. This might be the most prospects I've seen in a while, too. Tommy Wong. He looks like he could be okay, too. Alright. Another reliever, though. So, not necessarily in the areas we need, but we might end up becoming a really good pitching team and not so good batting-wise. Because we've been drafting good in terms of pitchers for the most part, I feel like. Anybody else? I feel like I should be at the end of this list by now, but there's just more and more and more. Alright. Yeah, there's nobody else so far, it looks like, so I might have to start looking at names and stuff like that. There's one, Jason Irabu, as a closer. I do remember him as well. He's definitely an intriguing one to scout out, but I don't think he was looking that good when we scouted him out last year. So let's now take a look at based on name. So is there any names that might be Asian names that are on American places? That's what I want to know now. Brian Daniel. We already saw about Vincent Tan. I feel like we're not going to find as much this way. Like, I could always do this in between episodes, but I'm pretty sure I did draft Theodore Lee, and he was the one that escaped us. If I remember right, the one guy that didn't want to sign with our team. Because usually everybody else wants to sign with us. Oh, there's one, Michael Hinoyo from Illinois. Alright. Right fielder. Might be a good potential. So, I'd definitely say this guy's worth scouting out for sure. That would be nice to get some outfielding help. I'll definitely take a look at him, I think. So there's our first American with an Asian name. Is there anybody else, though? There's probably going to be a few of them, I guess. Just based on how much prospects there actually is in this draft class. Not seeing anything so far. We already looked at Nakamura, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah. Hard to remember with all these prospects. We already saw about Taguchi as well. Moda? Moda I don't think is, no, that looks like a Spanish kind of guy. Yeah, I don't think Moda's an Asian last name. No, we already saw Yamamoto. We already saw Darren Hoffman as well because we knew him from other drafts. We already know about Hayashi. Yeah, maybe there's not going to be any more. Now, at least at this rate, we've already seen Chang. We've already seen Kato. Tom Ann, I've seen. Yeah, I think at this rate, I might have to just do the rest of this looking off video because this is just going to add too much time to the episode. Stephen Kim, South Korea, I guess I looked at him already. Alan Sasaki, I looked at too. Yeah, I think there's not going to be much more if there is any. It's an okay draft class, but it seems like very heavy in relief pitchers, which is not really necessarily my #1 priority. Which is not great. Jeff Ishii from California. That's, I think, another Asian last name, so we could scout out him. He's a catcher as well, which is another area that doesn't necessarily need too much attention with Yamazaki coming. And I think that's it. Tommy Wong, did we see him? Yes, we did. Okay. Hard to remember with the amount of prospects there is in this draft, if I've seen him or not. David Honoyosa, I think that's a Spanish name, or South American name, I should say, of some sort. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's take a look lastly. I do want to take a quick look at how my players have been doing in the MLB right now, like Iwamura. Yeah, Iwamura's off to a good start. Oof, Walter's off to a bad start, but, I mean, it's his first season. We knew that Tom Koo got his first win in franchise history. Leonard Sato, not off to the best of starts either. Is what it is. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to a couple of days before the draft, I guess, or a week before the draft. We'll scout out year number 6 and see if we can find anything decent. Right now, it looks like it's just mostly relief pitchers, which is not necessarily what I need to get from this team. But I think at least we're starting to at least build up a team that's going to start winning games. Considering we won our first game in franchise history already this season, maybe we could win more than one game this year, depending on how our pitching does, because obviously we don't have any batting in our lineup yet. But excited to see the progression of the young guys, and hopefully we can continue to add some good players to this team. So, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.